Everyone. On a Saturday evening, I think it's really good to see some of you showing an interest in learning and joining us today. I extend a very warm welcome to our distinguished speaker, Atul Runthala, sir. We are really honored, in spite of your busy schedule, you have joined us, and we are looking forward for an in-depth insight about, attention crisis. As we all know, I just quickly want to brief up about Atul sir he's an accomplished school leader with over 17 years of experience in educational administration and teacher development. As principal of the Indian Public School, CBSE, he has fostered a culture of empathy, innovation, and excellence among students and staff. Uh, Sir is a certified UNESCO, ISTM, and NCRT master trainer, working closely with the COE Chennai, and he has conducted numerous capacity building programs. He has actually taken a break off from one of the sessions now. Thank you for that, sir. And he has trained over 3,000 plus teachers, and he's known for maintaining his zero absenteeism throughout his tenure, a testament to his dedication and discipline. So research topic for today is the attention crisis, teaching in the age of constant distraction. So the objective for the sessions are like attention is teachable, technology need not be the enemy, a collective shift is essential between all stakeholders. So this is going to be a truly interactive session. That's why I have allowed all of you to unmute and speak. And I would definitely encourage all of you to, switch on your cameras. You have to wait till the last to have your attendance form in order to get your certificate. So, sir, without further delay, you can start with the session, sir.
Uh, Happy afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you to the TIPS TLRI team for organizing such a beautiful thing, that too uh, leveraging technology. Though somehow it has been declared a holiday, but still I can see people joining. That shows your commitment towards students and learning and the initiative what TIPS TLRI has taken forth. Now, what we're talking about, or what the topic has been assigned or chosen by me, is that attention. This attention is actually a 9 letter word, but can, uh, a bit disturbing thing, a bit eye catching thing. The problem nowadays is like, we assume that attention is very natural. Like I am assuming that everybody of you is listening to me, but maybe we are all mature. Maybe we all understand our takeaways. Maybe we all understand each one of us. But in a setup of a classroom where 30, 35 diverse children are there, which has their own different learning needs, and in that, the teacher expects that the attention span should continue 40 minutes, should be in the single direction, should be a lot of should be's are there, and then we expect the child to deliver something productive and meaningful. And that is not a one day process, it's throughout the year for all different subjects which have at times no connection, or which we as teachers could not connect the missing dots. And then we expect the child to be attentive in our classes. I think, with my experience and with my knowledge and bit of understanding towards the teaching pedagogies, and multiple schools I'm visiting thanks to CBC, that I've done over around 50 sessions. So in all those 50 different schools across Tamil Nadu, one common thing I found is that children are not attentive in the class. And sometimes we feel that, is it really a concern or a problem? Or is it something we are in the wrong direction? So what I understand it is that attention is very natural. Either a child may have or may not have. But something very powerful is also there. Attention is not a trait which you are born with. It's a skill. Yeah. We are not born with this kind of attention gene, which according to me, I don't know. It's a skill according to me. And if it's a skill, or if I precisely say it's a life skill as on today, then it can be taught, it can be strengthened, and it can be mastered or also over a period of time. But now the question is why attention matters today. When we were students, this was not the much buzzword in the teaching domain that children are not attentive in the classrooms, though we all were unattentive also, but that was not that much prevailing in the classroom scenarios. Now, as on today, we are living in a world where we spend most of our time in the cyberspace than in the real space, right? And in a world full of quick notifications, endless reels, videos, and a very strong emphasis on multitasking, where the brain is constantly switching channels back and forth in multiple domains with multiple intelligences, if you can connect with Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence, then as a school leaders, we should accept this reality that when there is so much happening at the same point of time, and when the child is not that much physically or psychologically or mature with his own neural networks, his neural networks are still growing up and learning. At that point of time, we expect him to be attentive throughout the day, right from morning till evening. Even I think I cannot be also. When we look at our own professional lives, at times we also become unattentive, either towards our work, towards our life, or whatever it may be. When a children or when a child has to learn to control attention, I think it improves his learning outcomes. It improves his emotional balance. It develops the 21st century skills like creativity and problem solving. And it makes him ready for the future career pathways also. A couple of years ago, when the foundation for success was considered as a literacy, I think grabbing attention or seeking somebody's attention or maintaining your attention is a much needed skill for today's foundation for success, right? Because if you want to learn something new and you're not attentive, then it question marks your own ability whether you can perform that task or not, right? Which somehow affects your success paradigm also. Now, the question rises is if teaching attention can be a skill which can be imparted, which can be developed, which can be uh, grown, then how can we teach this attention? What can we do with this attention? Let Can we make this attention visible? Attention is a trait, it's a skill which can be developed. But the question is how somebody will know that my children are attentive in my classroom? Or is attention a visible one or an invisible one? So, can we do some activities in our classroom? Can we ask some reflective question to our students? What helped you focus today? If I've taken a subject of, let's say, ninth physics, at the end of the period, can I have three or four reflective questions which can let me understand that were my children or me or my children were on the same page during the last 35 minutes? So the question could be like, what helped you focus today? Definitely we'll get some inputs. If not first day, maybe certainly after a week or so. And the second question, which is the reverse of this, what distracted you the most and how did you return to the task back again? I'm sure in those 35, 40 minutes, the child would have got something to focus upon. And there will be something for sure where he might have got distracted. And then he came back again to the same path along with you. So these two factors, if we could identify, if these two factors we can try to visualize with the help of the children's feedback, maybe we can have one understanding towards whether the attention is visible or not, whether the child is attentive or not. For example, in one of the schools when I visited in Trichy, they have a beautiful concept called as focus log. What that school is doing, at the end of every period, the students rate their attention for every subject period using emojis. You have different kind of emojis in the market, a smiling, sad, distracting, anger, frustration, whatever it may be. And every subject period end, the child has to paste an emoji in that focus log register without mentioning any name. Period number 6, subject science, and then paste your emoji. And then the principal says within 2 to 3 weeks of doing this activity, the teachers and parents notice better self control because students begin identifying when they needed a short break or a mindfulness moment, which I think resembles or reflects a ownership of focus. Now, coming back to the point of technology, which I think most of us believe that technology is a bit of a distraction as on today, right? But technology is not the enemy, but its unstructured use can surely be, right? When we were students, we used to have a quote: science is a good servant, but a bad master. So, same way, we have developed this technology, and we cannot say that technology will come to a halt or it will not develop. Now, AI is in the boom. Tomorrow, nanotechnology will come up. Day after tomorrow, something else will come up. So, technology is not our enemy. We are improving it, but we need to learn how to make the structured use of it. Can we move away from consumption of technology to creation of something? Right? We are consuming technology, but can we do some kind of creative things? For example, during COVID time, we use Kahoot. Most of the children, most of the teachers use Kahoot. What was the purpose of Kahoot? To engage your students, grab their attention, ask their inputs, conduct a quiz. But imagine if we are not using Kahoot and we do a quiz in a traditional classroom setup. Will that quiz be as interactive as Kahoot used to be? So you're leveraging technology to grab attention, but you are also ensuring the takeaways that children are still with you. One thing which I think uh, with this kind of setup, maybe our learning becomes active, if not passive. Or if not active, will surely become active after a certain consistent productive efforts. Let's say we can also include digital quiet time. No screens for the first 10 minutes. Like when children reach home, they use a lot of technology, they use a lot of gadgets for doing their work. But can we train them that there is a system in our devices screen time? How long have they been using? Because most of the parents say that when he start using the mobile phone, he couldn't track how much time he has wasted over the phone or the tablet, and it becomes a tool of distraction. So when I buy a laptop for my child to help him in the studies, and when the same laptop becomes a tool of distraction, then the technology will be misused. So can I teach my children that yes, you have to train your brain in such a way that it should start preparing deeper thinking. For that, I respect, I request that teachers should practice it first, then classrooms should respect it, and parents should reinforce it. If my teachers are not ready to practice the better use of technology, then my children will not respect your feeling and parents will not reinforce it back at home, right? And when you think of, let's say, future ready learning, which is, not damaging the attention of the children, we are preparing students for those kind of jobs, even which are not invented as on today. When I used to love computer science as one of my favorite subjects. But when I was a student, we used to have C or C++ and things like that. But we never thought one day AI will come into the picture. What is the guarantee that children whom we are teaching AI is one of the hot topics when they go to the job market or after 10 years or 12 years, the same thing will be the most latest one. Something new will come up. So are we making our children ready for that? So that also makes me understand that attention is much needed, not only for memorization, but the ability to focus deeply, learn continuously, think critically, and work with a purpose. Because I strongly believe in one of the quotes which I read in one of the books that schools of the future won't demand silence. They will teach attention with intention. So I think leveraging technology and feeling that it's disturbing the attention of my children is probably not in the right context, not right perspective. Yes, but why do need children need technology every now and then? I think because they need dopamine driven, reward kind of that, because we have trained our brain that if I use the screen, I get a lot of dopamine release and all that, the happiness hormone, and they need continuous, release of that. And after a certain period of time, the mind cannot track how much is your ideal consumption, right? When you start scrolling the reels, what happens? After a month, you keep scrolling and you never realize how much time you have given for that. Because the brain needs, I need more, I need more, and I need more. Even at our age, we get distracted so easily. So I think we need to work upon, we need to teach our children that yes, uh, mindful use of technology, mindful use of all the devices can help us leverage the use of technology, and will not distract us in a work, and maybe can help us to work more attentively towards our learning based scenarios. And where teachers and school leaders intervene, because without the support of teachers and school leaders, probably this thing cannot work out. Like attention skill building, having some workshops, having some kind of interactive activities, teaching our children about digital detox, a new term which has been, so that the children can understand, okay, what is the right time, balance digital habits, and trying to do single tasking, one task at a time. Because most of the children, when I talk to, why they're using gadgets, because they want to be multitaskers. And after a certain period of time, this multitasking lead to lack of focus and attention. Is it possible that can these children use single tasking, so one task at a time, based on their own SWOT analysis? Maybe some teachers, some leaders can go for SWOT analysis of using digital devices, because in my experiences, I've seen that children do understand all these things. Only thing is they need just support and guidance, right? And the questions like how well did I focus today, what disturbed my attention, and all that, probably that can help us better understand. And without support of parents, it's also not possible, because when the children reach home, they demand a lot of devices from their parents. And you know if we do some kind of parent orientation in this, definitely parents can also help us, uh, you know uh, kind of ensuring that children learn and use devices mindfully without getting distracted, and be attentive in their regular school work. Attention is never lost, I think. It's just simply needs training, how to ensure that it's always growing on. Yeah. So, Bharti, I can just, yeah.
Sir, yes, sir.
I'm just stopping here. Reason, I mean, whatever the thoughts I had for your question of yours, I just tried to share with you. I would
Absolutely,
love to
sir.
hear from you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I think most of our educators had the same question. How do we teach children whose attention is constantly pulled in by thousands of distract directions around? I think you have touched upon majorly, the areas where, children are getting distracted. Um this is a question from my side. How do micro distractions like, notifications and background noise, or even say, let's say the child has kept the phone aside, but then even the slightest notification and background music or noise or some pressure, like, they'll get a notification from their Instagram or Snapchat. So do you think it affects the learning cycle of the child?
Uh, First of all, I think we need to train our children like no device zone in their classroom or in their home study room. It should be a no device zone kind of that NDZ, where there is no device. And if you wish to use any device, preferably use a laptop rather than using an iPad or a tab or a mobile phone. Because If the device is near to you and your mind has been trained for all that dopamine release and all that, definitely one notification sound will give you a, you know, a kind of thought that let me check once. And once you start checking, it never ends. You know, you keep scrolling. So I think we need to train our children to practice discipline, have self control, self assessment, self realization, and self reflection, and using no device policy. Because I understand as on today in our CBSE setup, most of the things are covered by the books and the teachers. Hardly there are few things where they need to research upon. And for that, we can talk to our children that you keep a 1 hour or 1.5 hour reserve on a day or maybe 2 hours on the weekend. That during that time, I will do some research, I'll do some online. But rest of the time, when I'm having my books with me or I'm doing my note homework and all that, I will not keep any device near to me and keep my phones like how we sit for a meeting and keep our phone in a vibration mode, right? So that a small sound shouldn't disturb me. So, yes, I think most of the children are aware of all these things, but we are just not practicing them in our day to day life, assuming that they don't matter much to us. But as our experience is, these small habit changes can make a bigger change and impact in our life because our thinking, our values decide our behavior, and our behavior decides our actions, right? So,
Yes, sir.
yes, so you cannot question an action of somebody because his intention is not to get disturbed, but his actions mixed with wrong decisions lead to a bad, in the wrong direction. Yes, and I think teachers can also play a big role because they should teach the children how to use a technology as a tool for creation. Like, for example, nowadays, if you see project based learning, when children make beautiful projects, they use Canva and they build so beautiful designs, right?
Yeah.
So, when they're making good creative designs, then I cannot say it's a distraction. But then it has to be mindful use. They cannot sit full day for that. So somewhere I, as a teacher, should also tell, okay, within 1 hour, whatever you can produce the best, that's fine. Because your maximum score will not be decided based only on the design. That's fixed only, right? So I've seen some children also, they will spend 5 hours for just a 5 mark question. And then later realize I wasted my 5 hours for that. And
So even for
yeah,
using ChatGPT, we can allow children to create homeworks in ChatGPT because when we, just give them the homework on research, research-based homework, they might use the ChatGPT to find an answer. But instead, when we ask them to design a homework through, that in that way, these AI tools will definitely bring in that creativity part from our students, sir. Like, I hope I'm clear
yeah,
with
yeah,
the. Yeah, yes, sir.
yeah, yeah. Yes, but because nowadays you see if a new trend has started at ChatGPT and all these tools actually push your brain on the backside and the mind cannot think. Like three
Mm.
years before, if I have to draft something, I will have 10 different ways to draft a single thing. But now with use of AI, what is happening? Our mind cannot think of 5 sentences also. So is it a way I'm helping myself, or is it the way I'm pushing myself back 10 years ago? So I I'm not saying that don't use technology. I'm never saying that. But that technology has to be mindfully used and just act as a guideline rather than as a solution. For example, when the children are asked to make projects on education, that how girl education can make the lives of society beautiful, then they have an example of Savitri Bai Phule in their book, which was the first women teacher.
Teach.
Yeah. And that too in 18th century when nobody could think of that. So if they read the books thoroughly, if they can understand the content thoroughly, I think they need not go for that. And second, which I understand the bigger problem with ChatGPT and all these AI tools is that children are not much good in communication skills. So they just wanted to get the best marks without, struggling with the language, because that also is one of the barriers what they feel about it. If they get some answers through AI without struggling with language or the grammar, they can get better scores, which in case if they write, they might lose the marks, because again we have pushed them that you scored the best out of, you know to prove something, to get the best, they use the technology so that they shouldn't lose marks. And that fear we have also put somewhere. So it's all getting mixed up, ma'am.
Yes,
I
sir.
shouldn't lose the marks. I should prove myself. I'm the best of
Ah,
the lot. So I have to use the technology. And then using technology for a longer period of time, you become a slave for that. Tech slave, what you say that.
yeah,
And then your mind
yeah,
stops functioning. Your brain cannot think of that. Right? That's the point.
yes, sir. I think s- somebody has to mute. Yes. Sir, I think for the participants, can we post one quick question so that they can use a hand option to, give an answer? Could be a warm up, I
Mhm.
mean, could be a poll. Uh, how many teachers feel attention spans have sharply dropped in the last 3 to 5 years? This is for yourself. How many of you here feel that your attention span has sharply dropped in the last 3 to 5 years? Yes, I can see some of you.
Precisely post COVID.
Yes, sir. Tamil Nason, sir, would you like to unmute and share some thoughts on this? And if you have any questions to ask, sir, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Happy evening, sir. Happy evening, everybody.
Happy.
Happy evening, sir.
Right. Yes, sir. Actually, my question is attention span is not only in teachers, and I hope, because there are so many factors affecting the students. One is maybe lack of sleep, maybe the diet, and maybe some other problem at home. So it is not only going to happen in the school alone, or in the classroom alone. So how as a teacher we can overcome this?
A good question, sir. First of all, thank you for asking the question. Because if you asking a question, you are showing first step towards learning. And whatever little knowledge I have, I will try to share with you. You perfectly set the tone that the question is, I mean, this and the attention problem is not through the technology itself. It starts right from home. The home environment, the poor nutrition can also be one of the factors, because nowadays, if you see, most of the children don't prefer to take breakfast. Because why they don't take breakfast, I'm little lengthening this, because they are overnight awake till, because most of the families, if you see, they don't feel like they should sleep till 11 o'clock. And then post COVID, you have web series and all that. Children have their own mobile phones as on today. They watch a lot of social media. They sleep late. Then they get up, hurry, and they get ready to board the bus. And in that, they skip their breakfast for sure, right? And when they are not having proper nutrition, the first diet of the morning, how you think the brain or the mind will have the fuel to focus upon? That is also one of the reasons. Second, connecting with nutrition is that hydration, because it might sound very, you know, uh, subtle or general, that how proper food and water intake can affect child's performance and productivity. Even UNESCO is talking a lot many things, that there should be a water bell in all the schools, right? This is one of the thing. Then, as I said, inadequate sleep. If you see some children having dark circles, that is a sheer sign of lack of water intake, lack of proper sleep, which again affects their attention span. Third, fourth, it could be emotional disturbance or stress factors at home, because nowadays most of the families are nuclear families. If they're joint also, the children have a lot to face nowadays. Again, most important thing is connecting with nutrition and our life. Most of the children post COVID have a sedentary lifestyle. If you're not giving them a PE period, they will ask for a sports period. And when you give them a sports period, half of them will sit below the tree. So the sedentary lifestyle also, reduces the flow of oxygen to brain, which actually disturbs your concentration and memory over a period of time. And then the attention gets, that's why we say, no, a healthy mind lives in the hot, healthy body. And when your mind is healthy, then only you can throw attention upon everything. Then the teaching styles could be one of the problem. Depending on the subject, it could be one of the thing. The learning environment, suppose we all are talking together now, but suppose if there is a noisy environment, will the attention be ensured? Then parenting could also be one of the things where uh, it might affect the attention. Last but not the least, the cognitive differences and the developmental problems like ADHD, learning disabilities. And we know that there are four types of learning: visual, auditory, read, write, and kinesthetics. But my lesson plan is catering to only one style most of the time. Though I say inclusion, though I say respect the diversity, though I say holistic development, but is my lesson planning catering to all the four type of learners? If I'm showing a PPT, I'm catering to most of the visual learners. What about those who are kinesthetic learners? What about those who are auditory or read write learners? If I'm a kinesthetic learner and you are showing me a video, I cannot connect with your video until I do some hands-on learning, right? So I will not give attention to your class. And then you say, these children are not attentive in my class. But for what reason they should become attentive when your teaching style is not matching with my learning style? So according to me, I think uh, these are few of the factors, and then nobody is motivating them. That is also, you know, one of the prima facie most of the important, because when children don't see that nobody cares for me, the attention also collapses. Yeah.
Atul sir, in addition to what Tamilesan sir asked, I just have a doubt about one more thing. Do shorter, modular lessons work better for these types of learners or like today's learners in general?
It
Because
does, ma'am.
we have like about an hour, 40 minutes of class. Do you think it is too much? Or I mean, in this era and in this trend of growing technology and distraction, do you think it would be ideal to have even more shorter lessons?
See, ma'am, there are a lot of factors, and it depends on the age group, it depends on the subject, it depends on your teaching experiences, it depends on the gender and sex also of the child. But if we generalize all this, I must say one thing, that those 40 minutes, what you say, are not with the teacher also. Because when I'm leaving the previous class and going to your next class, already let's say 3 to 4 minutes are gone. And when you reach the class, you have to set the tone for the class, make sure all are sitting, you take the attendance, next 5 minutes are also gone in that. So 40 minus 10 is 30 minutes. So pure teaching time is 30 minutes. Out of that 30 minutes also, you will try to recapitulate what you have taught. You will try to have 5 minutes of question answer session. So net working time is, let's say, 50 or 60% of your total period time. So I must say one thing, that you have a syllabus to cover, you have portions, you have assessments. So whenever you are doing a lesson planning, make sure that this kind of timing variable, must be taken care of. Or the most important thing is, if you go through the CBSE syllabus, I'm very particular with CBSE now. If you see their curriculum syllabus file, they mention the number of periods also. Along with every grade, like grade 9 physics should finish in 174 periods. I'm just giving you a tentative example. And let's say you have 10 months of teaching time in the school. So in those 10 months, how many periods you are getting? Let's say you are getting 234 periods or 250 periods or 300 periods. right? Because most of the core subjects have 1 or 2 periods in a day. And let's say 220 working days we have. So let's say you have an approximate 300 plus periods at your disposal. But the board recommends you should finish this portion in 174 periods. So rest is all for reinforcing the concepts and for doing activity based learning. But what we do, we structure everything in the same period only. I'll revise also, I'll conduct the assessment also, I'll teach also, I'll keep some time parked for my FAQs also, and XYZ and all that. Can I make my lesson planning little structured? Can I make my lesson planning catering to all the four diverse learners? Can I keep one period? Let's say I have 9 periods in a week. Can I reserve those 2 periods only for subject enrichment kind of things? 7 periods only for teaching? So, yes, micromanagement is not good, but when you are ensuring in today's digital world, ensuring 100% productivity of yours and your children, you have to manage these things before you enter your class, for sure. And as you rightly mentioned, madam, we have to, we cannot overlook all these things. Because if you see, teaching is a different process, learning is a different process, but both goes hand in hand. But teaching is same, learning is always different for each one of them, right? That means there is something which is imbalancing that. And that imbalancing you can only balance when you understand all these direct or indirect factors affecting your classroom scenario. And as I mentioned, there are around 9 or 10 of them are distractors who lose your attention, who disturb your attention. You have to make sure that all are, at the right place. I consider teaching learning process as a Legos game where every block has to go, fitted together to have a proper building or a structure in place. One block out, the building collapse. It's easy to say, easy to talk, but not easy to deliver. And that's what experience and collaborative learning is all about. If you have a best practice, I'm ready to learn. If I have something best to offer, I expect you to learn. And that's what the NEP also talks about that. Yes, because you cannot expect parents to give you something because they don't have time thanks to the nuclear family setup. They don't have a single understanding about any of these things, and children are left at their own most of the times. Okay, because my job is to teach, that's it. Then where the child should go? We understand that children are going through a biggest challenge. Who wants to get failed? Who wants to score poor marks? Who want to go through the humiliation? Or which child doesn't know his own issues or his own concerns or his own bottlenecks of learning? But who will solve these problems is a bigger question. So I request all my teaching fraternity that please understand child from the child's point of view, not from our point of view.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering that. Participants, you are free to ask your questions. You can type in your Q&A or in the chat box, or you can unmute and ask your questions now. Please feel free to ask your questions. Sir, if you want to question the participants, please go ahead, sir. If you have anything to
No,
further
I
initiate a topic or a discussion, definitely. Yeah, team, participants, if any of you would like to share your experience also, we are happy to hear from you.
but I would love to hear the best practices which ensure that children are not having distractions. If you have any best practice to share and
Practices.
celebrate together, we would love to hear from any one of you, all of you.
Yeah, it will definitely help another teacher. Please feel free. It can be a smallest thing that you have done in your class, but brought in a bigger change. It will definitely help your fellow teachers. So feel free to share.
Maybe they don't want to share their business, teaching secrets. Maybe.
Maybe so. Yes,
Yes.
Abhirami. Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Hi, ma'am. Happy evening, ma'am. I would like to share a few energizers where I'll be using it during the starting session of the class or starting day. I'll be using some warm up activities like stand up or one, two, three eyes on me like that. It will be very helpful for me if they get diverted or if they are wandering in the class, if they are restless. I'll make them to lie down, ask them to close their eyes for 2 minutes, and then after that we'll be having a small joke, and then we'll be starting the session. It would be easy for me to take them back to the class, to take them back to the line.
Practice mindfulness. Yes, very good thing, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for sharing, Abhirami, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Anybody else? I think there are quite experienced teachers here. You would have, over the years, you would have had a lot of, uh, change-making moments that you have really witnessed in your classrooms. Please do share those ideas and strategies. Or as Sir said, do you want to keep it a secret?
Not a secret, but yeah, maybe. Sometimes I think when I also ask these kind of questions in my offline sessions, they reserve their thoughts, but I say there's nothing called as right and wrong, and we are not going
Exactly,
to
sir.
judge anyone. What
Exactly,
might
sir.
sound funny to me may be the best for you. So yes,
Great, sir.
yeah. So we appreciate that.
So while our teachers are thinking about sharing it, I have one more question to ask you. Like in this world of constant distraction, where do you see classroom attention going in the next 10 years? Where do you
Uh,
envision? How do you think it would be? Because most of us have this kind of a fear, I should say. Like I know teachers are multi-talented. We will have a lot of solutions on in the process when we undergo all this. But still, how do you see it?
I think it's a competency-based question you were asking me. Uh, but one thing I must say that as the technology is changing rapidly, it's very hard to uh, forecast that what might be the buzz after 10 years. But one thing for sure, as on today, what I can say based on the current scenario and the trends what we have right in front of us, uh, I think you cannot tell the children nowadays don't use social media. You tell them how to make the mindful use of social media. Yeah. You cannot tell don't use mobile phone. Tell them how to make the best use of a mobile phone. Yeah. Because this generation will not accept your no. But they are ready to understand why you are saying no, because they will question you why you are saying no to me. So for that no, you cannot give any vague answer. You have to give a logical, sensible answer. And sometimes we are not that much oriented to give a proper answer. We just say no because I have said no. This logic is not acceptable. Coming back to your question, what we can do for or what schools need to prepare for, I think we need to improve our digital dependency. We will be digitally dependent after 10 years more than today. The ratio at which digital dependence is going is again, not in a particular ratio. Year on year, it's getting many fold times. Difficulty in processing information without screens like that, distractions during study time. So can we ensure that the digital dependency on these devices can be regulated or can be structured? Can we teach this children? Because as I said, what was what I was studying the latest in my childhood is nowhere in the business today. So what you are teaching the latest today, what is the guarantee after 15 years children will be putting this kind of thing to their real life usage for their own survival, right? Sometimes we question, no, I learned trigonometry, but where shall I use it? I don't know. After passing my nine till now, till date, I don't know where to use trigonometry. So teach these children the tools and the techniques and the skills where they can use them, where they can leverage the power of that technology. Then next thing for sure, that when they will be using a lot of digital technologies, stress and anxiety is bound to pop up, is bound to grow. Yes. So we can talk about how to handle performance pressures, because already we have performance pressures, which leads to overthinking, anxiety, depression, and health issues. So, can we talk as on today, forecasting the future, that students should not freeze when they don't know the concept? They should try to solve through the problem solving techniques. The next thing is active listening, which most of the students have a barrier today. They are not your active listeners. Half of the time they are passive listeners. Then you have to be assertive. But in my understanding, what teachers do, or what most of the people do under different scenarios, towards the middle half of the day, we become aggressive due to our own challenges and stress. So we should teach our children how to show assertiveness rather than aggressiveness. Because as you are depending on technology, so your stress factors will also rise. So as on today, the schools can teach. Then the influence, how social media, how technology is influencing your life as on today. After 15 years, the influence levels will be sky high. So how to handle that? Then I should teach the reading practices, because I think most of the children have stopped reading. If they are good readers, I'm sure they will read something which is meaningful even after 15 years, also, depending on that point of time, which will keep connected them. And then it's a new thing. I mean, we all are hearing FOMO, fear of missing out. That is, I think, as you said, no, a single notification has come. So I have a FOMO in my mind. I should not miss something. I should be up to date all the time. In that, I keep allowing distraction to disturb my attentiveness. So, and we should teach them motivation and all sort of things, emotional balance, concentration towards our exam. That is all normal things which we are doing, but keeping the futuristic approach in mind, at least 4 to 5 things we can tell our children and let them practice every day with consistency. One day, 2 days will not help. It should become a lifelong habit, at least 21 to 41 days of consistent efforts by teachers and by students, which sets a tone for their life and comes as a part of their life skill or a value which they believe on. Like reading is part of my value, not an additional stress for me. Yeah. Yes.
So there is a new terminology coming up now. Along with FOMO, we hear FOFO, FOFO as well, which is fear of finding out. Where they, the children, they are fear about discovering the truth about something, because that will be, uncomfortable for them, and it will be stressful. So this is one new thing that has been trending now recently, sir.
Because they are under pressure at times that they have to give the best in the least of the time to put their credibility. Because if you are not performing within a stipulated time, your credibility is at risk. So they want to be, 5G, 6G, 7G speeds very fast. And in that, actually it's a growing attention challenge, that you want to, um, uh, I should be the first one. I shouldn't be the second one. I shouldn't be the third one. I shouldn't miss it. So I should, give my best within the
Yes,
shortest
sir.
span of time. And that adds on to your cortisol, the stress hormone.
Yes, sir. So I think we are nearing the end of the session now. I'll be sharing the attendance link in the chat, and I request the participants to kindly fill in order to get your certificates. But before that, you have another few more minutes to uh, give a feedback, or ask your questions to Atul sir. You have a minute or two now to ask, sir. Please feel free to unmute and speak, participants.
Sir, again, maybe. Sir, can I ask a small, it's not a question, I heard out. Actually, I think some 15 years back, I went to school in Bangalore. That school, in every classroom is fully air conditioned, fully furnished. There was only one hole in the door, no windows, no other doors, only one door, single door, and they will be having a small glass opening. You can see it from outside, and from outside you can see inside also. So no opening, no ventilation, nothing, fully air conditioner. So when I asked, it is 15 years back. So when I asked them, they said minimizing the distraction will increase the attention. So to minimize the distraction, what is happening, what is going out, what is happening outside. So all these things they said it will not visible to the students. So students will not get distraction. So their attention span will increase. I don't. I did not verify it. I don't know whether it is the output is good or not. Whether it is useful. What do you think about this concept? Is it the proper way? Is it the correct way?
Yeah, I got your point. Actually, it's a game of your psychological understanding. When you restrict something, your mind needs more. Are you getting my point? So when you say no to do something, they will love to do it more because they have to prove their point, or they have to prove that yes, they can do it. When you have, let's say, like most of the corporates, you see they have the entire building made up of glass where they can see the rest of the world outside, but still they are productive, right? Because they believe that with too much of distraction outside, if I'm not attentive, somebody else will sit on my chair tomorrow. I'm a bit harsh, but hope you are connecting with my point. Same with children. When you expose them to a certain limit of environment, after a certain period, the saturation point, they come back to the path. But when you restrict everything for your child, automatically the curiosity will push him to that side which you don't want. So I look at this perspective that when you have this kind of openness, this openness actually, um, removes the visual clutter of your mind, because you have no walls, you have no, let's say, softboard, you have no digital screens, everything is glass where you can see the rest of the world. And how long will you see? For example, somebody loves to eat chocolates. How many chocolates can you eat? After a certain time, there will be a point where you need not eat any chocolates hereafter for the a certain number of hours or days or months, and then you turn your attention to the direction where you are heading to, right? Actually, it's a brain game what the which is being played with your, you know brain, and it allows supervision also, you know transparent.
So we are nearing the end of the session. Atul sir,
Yes, ma'am.
yes sir. I just want to say thank you so much, sir, for an enlightening and deeply relevant session for this particular period. Your insights on navigating this attention crisis and supporting learners in an age of constant distraction has given us a lot of things to reflect on as educators. The practical strategies, like you shared about the focus lock and some of the other perspectives, and how to build empathy with you have addressed the challenges of today's learners, and it has truly enriched the conversation. And to all the participants, thank you for your engagement and thoughtful questions. Let us take forward these ideas and commit to, create a classroom where focus, curiosity, and meaningful learning can thrive. Thank you once again, Atul sir, for sharing your expertise with us today. Uh, with that, happy weekend to all of you. Happy Atul sir. Thank you, Atul sir, for your wonderful session and sharing your insights.
Happy, ma'am, and thank you to all the teachers who were patiently listening to me and bearing my thoughts. I wish you a happy weekend and let's make the learning more enjoyable for our children.